Hello, everyone. For my TED Talk, I decided to talk about Henry Ford. Henry Ford was born on July 30, 1863, near Dearborn, Michigan. Henry Ford was actually born into a family of farmers, yet he knew that that was not the life for him. He knew he wanted more. By the age of 13, Henry Ford's father gave him a clock, which he was actually able to take apart and put back together, and that's where his real interest in mechanics came to play. By the age of 16, he decided to leave the farm and go work on ships and steam engines. And he actually did this for a couple of years until he met a woman called Clara Bryant. He ended up marrying this woman and decided to move back to the farm to be with his family, raise his kids, and settle down. Yet he felt empty inside. He knew there was more out there that he could do. He wanted to innovate. He decided to leave the farm again and work in an electric company called Edison Illuminating Company, where he did for a couple of years, and quickly his skills were noticed. He was quickly promoted, and everybody realized that he had incredible skills in mechanics. He was given the opportunity to work on his own projects, and that's where he decided to make the quarter cycle, which was his first version of a car. He also made his own version of the internal combustion engine. With his incredible enthusiasm and focus, he was able to find enough funds to make his own company, which he established in 1903, obviously Ford Motor Company. As time passed, he kept making more and more models, he kept making more and more cars, but he started to realize that his cars were becoming more and more expensive, and he did not like that. Henry Ford was not a leader that was in there for the money, but rather for the satisfaction. He wanted to innovate. He wanted everyone from farmers to the rich people of the time to drive his car. He decided to come up with the Model T. The Model T was a less expensive version of a car, which was incredible. Everybody wanted the Model T, and demand was incredibly high. That was actually a problem because he could not meet that demand as they were making around 25 cars a day, and demand was much higher than that. That's when Henry Ford's greatest achievement came to play. Him and some engineers made the moving assembly line. This was able to cut down the time of making a car from 12 hours to 93 minutes, which was incredible. He was able to meet their demands and even more, and that brought incredible profits to the company. Being the leader that he wasn't focused on the money. He knew that everything that he achieved was because of his employees, and he decided to raise the wages of his employees in order to make them happy, make them loyal and more enthusiastic on what they were doing. So, what actually made Henry Ford such a great leader, great innovator, and a great success that we know today, I believe was his enthusiasm, his focus, his emotional intelligence, and his investment in human capital. As I just mentioned, he invested in the people that worked for him. He did not care how you looked, where you were from. He was actually one of the first CEOs to hire African Americans, hire women, even hire disabled people simply because they were great employees. He also had his emotional intelligence where he didn't care about himself. He would put his customers and his employees before anything. That's why he decided to cut down the cost, and that's why he simply raised the wages of his employees. His incredible focus and enthusiasm is what really led him to where he ended. That's where he became such a success because he had this drive. He wanted to become the greatest car manufacturer of all time. And that's what he did. He changed the game. He knew that he would give people a better product than what they actually said, than what they actually wanted. And that's why he mentions, and I quote Henry Ford on this, he says, if I would give people what they wanted, I would have made faster horses. And that's the reality. People don't know what they want until you give it to them. This is also seen with Steve Jobs, as he actually quoted Henry Ford on that, because Steve Jobs made the laptop. Nobody knew what the Macintosh was. Nobody knew what it could be until he finally put it out there. And that's what Henry Ford did. They both made incredible products that revolutionized their generation, and they did it simply based on their focus, on not the idea of making money, but the idea of changing the game, changing the world. And that's why Henry Ford was such a great leader.